Now, if you're saying I sell coaching, that is exactly why nobody's buying. Because let me tell you, nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, you know what I need today? 6 coaching sessions or a coaching session. That's not what they're thinking about. They actually wake up thinking, I'm screaming at my kid every single night and I hate myself for it. Or they say, my visa better not get denied because I really want my husband next to me. Or they say, if I keep living like this, I will burn out. What coaches love to say is, I help people transform, but that's not an offer. That's a vibe at best. Let me tell you, people don't want coaching. They want a transformation. Whether that is losing weight, find purpose, stop people pleasing, that's what they want. Coaching is simply your methodology, is your framework, your pathway that you use to get them the transformation. It is not your offer. And here's the truth. No magic funnel, no marketing tactic, no fancy website can sell you anything if you don't have anything to sell. Because if you don't have a well-established offer, if you don't know what you're selling, then you're not selling anything. You don't have an offer, so nobody can buy that. And that's why in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use AI, this amazing technology, to build a real offer. So we're gonna have clarity on who you help, what you actually do for them, and what ugly thing you help them avoid. And I'll give you the exact same prompt that I use with our own clients, so you're never staring at the blank page. Now, most coaches and also therapists that I work with, they get stuck in one of these 3 places, right? They have a half-built notes, there are notes everywhere, right? They have this massive thread with ChatGPT sometimes. They have like 20 Google Docs and like a vague idea like, I help people heal, or I help women step into their power. But then they try to build a funnel or launch a podcast or post on Instagram every day, and then nothing happens. And I say nothing happens in terms of no clients, no inquiries, no one jumping in a call with you. But one thing to really understand is that if the offer is vague, everything downstream is also going to be vague. Your content is going to be vague, your emails are going to be vague, your sales calls are going to be vague. So of course people don't buy because they are confused, and a confused mind never buys. I mean, just ask yourself, when was the last time you confused about an offer but you still pulled out your credit card? Never, right? So that's why in my world, we always start with the offer first. Not the logo, not the website, not the perfect funnel. We start with who do you help? What outcome do you help them get? And what awful thing do you help them avoid? Only once that's clear, content becomes easy, funnels become simple and converting, and AI actually becomes useful instead of just giving you fluff. Because I know you've been in the situation where you're talking to ChatGPT, it's giving you amazing things, but they're not useful. They're just like fluff. But first, let's start with a very simple offer equation, so you know exactly what we're gonna be aiming towards. So the framework that I use is I help target audience to goal without the pain point. The pain point or the dreaded thing that they're really afraid is gonna happen if they do the shift. But you know what? Let me show you how this looks like with real examples from clients that I've worked with inside of my offer bootcamp. Right, so for example, number 1, let me give you the ADHD parents one. So I have a client of mine, she's a therapist who helps parents with kids with ADHD or ODD. So at first, her language was extremely clinical. So because she'll say things like, I help caregivers of neurodivergent children with emotional regulation. The thing is that that's how therapists talk. It's not how exhausted parents at 11 p.m. are Googling on Google. So we did the work. And after we did the work, her offer became something like a little more understandable for the people that she was talking to. Because she said, I help burned out parents of kids with ADHD and ODD handle daily outbursts calmly without yelling, freezing, or hating themselves afterwards. As you see here, we have the same person, same skill set, completely different clarity. And most importantly here, and this is the part that I really want you to understand, her target audience understood that she was talking to them. Because before, she was so clinical that was just going over their heads. Because once we focus exactly what are the daily things, the struggles they're going through, and speak their language, then I'll go, oh, that's me, tell me more, right? Now, let me give you another example. So this is example 2. I have another client that she works with women who have been stuck in survival mode for years, right? They overperforming for love, they're caring for everybody else, and they're burned out. Now, the fluffy version of that offer which was selling was I help women step into their power and embody their authentic selves. Immediately, I said, no, 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 no. Because let's just diagnose that. What does step into their power even mean? We have to unpack that. So, the way that we ask that question, the way that we get to the solution is what is happening right now in their lives that stepping into their power will eliminate? What is the pain point that's happening right now that by stepping into their power, that pain point is no longer going to be there? We need to speak to that pain point because right now, stepping into their power is a solution and they're not aware of the solution, right? You as a coach are the one that have to educate them on what's the problem and what is the natural solution so you become the natural next step. So of course with her, what we did after we dug into the real language that they actually use and we got something more specific. So then her position statement became, I help women stuck in survival mode finally feel safe in their own lives without overperforming to be loved. Now with this position statement, you know exactly who is it for, you know what she does, and you know what nightmare she saves people from. And it's really, really clear and really specific. Okay, just one more because this one is also really good, right? So I have one of my clients, she's an immigration consultant. So she helps US citizens bring their overseas fiancés to the US on a K1 visa. Yes, so if you're familiar with 90-day fiancé, that's the kind of visa. Amazing, I love the show. Before, what she had was something really, really vague, right? She would say things like, I help couples reunite by helping them fill out the K1 visa. That was nice, but it doesn't sell, right? People don't want to help fill out the form. That's not what they're looking for. We need to talk to the pain points that they want to avoid or feeling right now. So naturally, we did the work and we came up with something a little more concrete. So now she says, I help US citizens with overseas fiancés avoid K1 visa denials by feeling correctly the first time without wasting money on lawyers. Now that's an offer. But if you notice, all three have the same pattern. I help target audience to goal without the dreaded thing they want to happen. Now the good news is that you can do this too, and AI can help you get there much faster if and only if you give it the right information. Now before we even touch AI, we need to feed it something worth working with, because otherwise garbage in, garbage out. Because let me tell you, the shorter and the more ambiguous your prompt is, the fluffier and the more useless the output will be. Because I know that at one point you got onto ChatGPT and you said, hey, I'm a life coach, please build me a whole marketing strategy. That is too big, that's ambitious, that you didn't give it any context. We need to make sure that we give AI amazing context, amazing input, so it gives us amazing output too, that we can finally work with. So what's gonna happen now, I'm gonna jump into my computer and show you exactly how to do this. And you can either screenshot it so you can save it for yourself, or you can grab my AI Offer Clarity Kit below and do it yourself as well. So what I'm gonna do now is share my screen so we can do this together once and for all. Very good, here we are. Okay, remember that I told you that the content that we give AI is going to be really specific, and it has to be really specific and it has to be really good. We need to make sure that we give AI all the context that it needs so that it gives us a good output. Right now, we're trying to put together your positioning statement, right? So let me show you first what the prompt looked like and then what things we need to feed into it so it becomes more complete. So this is the actual prompt. You see how long it is? Because we want to make sure that we get good output. So first we go, hey, I am the coach or a therapist. You delete the one that most relates to you, creating a clear offer statement. Here's my target client information, demographic and psychographic. We'll come back to this in a second. Let me read more about this prompt. Use this template to write 10 variations of my offer statement. I help specific target audience to specific measurable goal without big explained fear or hated thing. Here are the rules. Make the who ultra specific, not everyone, not women, but a clear type of person. Number 2, make the goal concrete and outcome based. No feel better, use tangible results. Number 3, make the without phrase a real objection or pain they have right now. Number 4, use simple, clear language a 10-year-old could understand. And finally, do not add fluff or extra sentence, only the one line each time. After you give 10 options, pick 3 best and briefly explain in 1 or 2 sentences why those 3 are the strongest based on my demographic and psychographic information. So far, so good. So this is the whole prompt. As you see, there's 2 things are missing here, the demographic and the psychographics. What are those? When we talk about an offer, the offer and the offer statement, we need to make sure we have two specific things: the who and also the what. Who are we talking to and what are we helping them achieve, right? When it comes to the who, we have two ways of like understanding more about the who. So we have the one, the demographics, right? So demographics are facts, are things that are real. For example, people's age range, their location, their income level, their gender, their job role, their situation, their relationship status. Those are all just true facts, right? Then we have the profiling questions. Then we have the psychographics, right? The psychographics is what they feel, what they're feeling like, what conversations they're having in their minds. And to understand those, we have 5 questions that we answered. So, what are their biggest goals or biggest outcome, the dream outcome? The top 3 daily frustrations that they have. What have they already tried in the past but didn't work? What are the biggest fears or objections that they have about getting help? What are the exact sentences they're saying to themselves at 2 o'clock in the morning? We want to understand all of these, right? And what I want you to do when it comes to the demographics, and this is really specific, important, we're not trying to make a casting for a movie. So you don't have to answer all of these. Make sure that the demographic part, you only answer the ones that make sense for you. For example, if I'm a health coach or a weight loss coach, and I specifically help women or new mothers lose pregnancy weight, I don't need their age range. I don't need to specify the location. Maybe here I could say new mothers, as in place for the gender. And maybe here their relationship status is not relevant because I help new mothers whether they're single or if they're married, if they're in a relationship. Does not matter, right? So that's going to be my only one. For example, if we help new leaders in the tech industry, then okay, now we have, for example, here new leaders, and from example here it will be in the tech industry. Now, their location, maybe if I'm only helping people in Austin, then it makes sense to put Austin there. But only things that make sense and are relevant for your target audience. Now, the other ones here, if you go down, this one, I want you to answer the best to your ability. And I know that maybe you have long conversations with ChatGPT and you'll be tempted to go to ChatGPT to answer these questions, but I want it to come from you. I wanted you to answer these questions in the best way possible, right? So I want you to do this work and really come up because sometimes you were the person 5 years ago they're trying to help now, right? So I want you to step into that. So what was the goal that you're trying to achieve? And as you see, as you answer, for example, here, maybe it's the new mothers, they want to look or feel sexier, feel sexy again. They want to lose the belly, right? Something like that. The frustration is that nothing fits right now. So if you see, if I scroll down, it starts populating there, right? It starts populating. If I go here, if I put just new mothers, right? You'll see here it populates. So you should have a long one. Now, what are you going to do next? Very simple. We're going to click on this button here that says copy, right? We're going to copy this, and now we're going to be able to paste it into ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, whatever large language model do you use. It's good, right? It's the only thing we want to make sure that gives you a very good output. Very good. So now let me give you a real example, right? So I'm going to go with parents with children with ADHD, right? So in here I was really vague, but I want you really to write as much as you can and really give AI as many information and context that you can so it gives you an amazing output as well, right? So the biggest goal, they want to stop screaming at my kid and ruining our relationship. The top 3 daily frustrations, every homework time becomes a war. The things they've tried in the past. This is important because you want to know what they are comparing you with, right? They tried books, they tried courses, they tried therapy. The biggest fear is that I'm just not a good parent. And the sentence they're telling to themselves at night is that, what if I've ruined my relationship with my kid forever, right? So as you see, it's kind of populated here. All I'm going to do is copy this prompt, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to paste it just as it is, and like that. And in a moment, you're going to see this going to start giving us the output, right? And of course, maybe this output is not going to be the most amazing because I didn't give it so much information, but you see roughly what you should be expecting from your end, right? So as we told ChatGPT that we wanted 10 different options, right? And then we wanted the 3 best ones, and we want ChatGPT to tell us why they thought those were the best ones, right? Because sometimes ChatGPT and AI does this, that it just yeses us. Everything that we tell them, it goes, yes, you're right. Yes, you're amazing. Yes, you're a genius. And want to make sure that we challenge that. And I will also want to make sure that we do this with every single prompt. So he gives it the 10. But then when I look at the three best ones, it tells me number 2, number 6, and number 9 are the strongest, right? So if I read number 2, let's see, I help parents with kids with ADHD turn daily homework battles into calm 30-minute routines without screaming or losing control. That's very simple, right? And here it says this is strong because it names the exact pain, homework battles, that's what I mentioned, right? That's the biggest pain point, and gives a clear, measurable outcome, 30 minutes routine. It feels concrete and doable. That's correct. If I go the other one that's thought that was strong was number 6, that says I help parents of children with ADHD cut homework fights in half within 30 days without feeling ashamed or out of control. Okay, this works because it's measurable and time bound, which increases credibility. It speaks directly to the daily frustration they feel. You see how this is much stronger, more specific, and you'll be able to now get the clarity on exactly what transformation are you giving people. Because remember, again, what I told you in the beginning of the video, people are not buying coaching, they're buying transformations. I truly hope this was helpful and you now understand how to get your position statement so you finally have the clarity that you need to push forward and get those clients that you need. Okay, so don't forget to grab the AI Offer Clarity Kit below, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.